Hey there, everybody. Checking in on for our third installment of the Wootz forging videos. This time, forging a knife from Wootz. So, what I've got here is roughly 4 cubic inches of Wootz from a previous bar I had forged out. So this is an ingot I got forged down. I often stop at about this cross section, about 1 inch by 2 inch. It gives me a good place to start from if I want to play around with which direction I'm forging. Well, cutting off chunks this size, you can forge them out any which way I like. In this case, we're going to be forging out with the original direction of flow. Continuing, I'm going to continue forging out in that direction. I have done some blades where I actually turned and forged out in the transverse direction. I've even done blades where I took the cut like this and forged down so that that end grain became the face of the blade. Overall, I've had the best success with just continuing the direction I've already started. So that's what we're going to be doing this time. I'm going to be forging an integral knife because I've got an order for one. So that's where we're going to go. Yeah, you guys get to follow along and see how this is done, or at least how I do it. I really don't know how other folks who are forging crucible steel are forging. It's a reasonably secretive group, so you know, it's a lot of guesswork, I guess. But in any case, I'm going to show you how I do it. Over that, we get into iffy territory. I can continue forging a little bit further on this. Cycles are important, but I don't want to develop, I don't want to work too cold. It's really easy to get serious fish mouth. Our next step here is setting down for the bolster. Take this in a couple of rounds. Don't want to stress it too much. Looking good so far. Certainly got enough there for a hefty bolster and tang. We'll do another round of the same. That works better for me. So I'm getting a little bit of splitting at this end. I was working that pretty pretty hard, probably a little bit too cool. That doesn't make me concerned for the integrity of the bar. Just, you know, it's in the tank. If it's going to do it anywhere, that's the place for it. I don't necessarily want to take this out to finish the engine, or just factor getting it down to a dimension I can handle nice and strong. So I get working on the blade. One thing I've definitely learned from America is forging in this transition at an angle definitely makes it a lot easier to avoid a hump in the back of the blade. Doesn't necessarily avoid it entirely, but it helps a lot. Another thing that he does, which I think is very smart, is he keeps the blade thickness relatively even. Doesn't forge in too fine a point too early on. That avoids overheating certain areas, especially points, while heating up each round. The forging cycles start getting a lot faster as the material thins. And by faster, I mean I've got less time to work before the material cools. It is important to work from both sides here, because otherwise what will happen is that I'll be set to one side on the bolster. Still looking good, so I'm going to keep going. We're going to now go to the anvil. I'm going to punch that top corner in. And we'll keep on going. little bit of a seam here. When I set in the bolster, a little bit of a tear. Probably just took 2 bites when I was setting that in. I think that's it, but what I'm going to do is just go over it quickly, let it cool, go over it quickly with the grinder, and make sure there's nothing that I'm missing, and then do the finished forging. I did some pretty minimal cleanup grinding. Time to switch to hand forging. So I definitely want to do any major refining of the shape while my edge is still thick enough to support that kind of forging. And key aspects of forging integrals is you absolutely have to keep that bolster off the anvil at all times. And don't hit it. I really like the cross peen, and a reasonably heavy cross peen for moving the material where I want it to be. One thing of note, I'm not forging on the end yet. I'm leaving that a little bit thick. That is, again, to help prevent overheating. One key when you're using a cross peen is you got to make sure to use enough force. If you're just tapping on the surface, then you shouldn't be using the cross peen. However, you do have to be careful out of the tip and at the edges. Among other things, find that using the cross peen helps stir up the pattern, so to speak. Wootz, just like a very fine grain, hit the bolster, fine grain Damascus, will show a lot of this forge work in the final etch. So I'm essentially manipulating the grain, and by that I don't mean the crystalline grain, but instead grain as in wood grain. Silly wire. Get out of my way. Now, so you can see, getting close to my final shape here. I should actually check my length measurement. I'm supposed to be making a 9-inch chef. Let's see where we are. Should have marked this on the end, will make my life easier. We are actually just about at 9 inches, so I don't want to do too much more forging, at least not for length. Still need to pick up some more curvature, so switch techniques a little bit here. We'll actually use the cross peen the other direction. Now, I'll use the cross peen lengthwise or crosswise. Pick up a little bit of curve to that edge, a little belly. I'm also just texturing the surface a little bit. Got to make sure you don't work too cold. Just like any steel, any normal steel, Wootz does not appreciate getting worked, like actually forged, too cold. So most of what I'm putting in now is really just, like I was saying, to stir up the pattern. Key to work both sides, because forging one side will tend to smooth the other. Same time, I have to make sure I leave myself enough material. Once I grind through my texture, that'll be enough there to make a knife. I'm getting close to the right kind of shape. I'm leaving the end a little amorphous, so I've got some room to play with. Just working on getting everything lined up, forging my tang in just a little bit longer. I would say it is long enough, but a little more never hurt, right? So just making sure I've got good alignment this way. All of this is also thermal cycling the blade, which helps to refine the grain structure, and in the case of a very high carbon steel, helps develop carbides. Got to make sure it's all aligned, then we'll switch back around, focus on the blade, leaving just this little extra thickness in the tang. Lets me adjust for center in the grinding. Wire keeps getting in my way. Funny little mark on there, which which we'll check out during the rough grinding. Check that first, so in case I need to do any more forging, I can. But now I'm going to get this pretty well straight. Hard to tell, I'm sure, in there, because it's hard for me to align with it. But, yeah, looks pretty good. Now I gotta just tweak the tang over very slightly. Then I'll do some more thermal cycling. Thermal cycling in Wootz looks pretty much the same as any other steel. Really just trying to get above critical and below critical. In this case, we don't really need to worry much about grain growth because we've got all those little carbides in there. We would have to overheat this substantially to get any kind of real grain growth. Basically, if you're looking at it, I don't know if this shows up, but you can see there's sort of a shadowy darkness. What we're trying to do is get that to disappear and then drop back down and have it reappear. You can cool all the way to black, and in normal steels, it's not necessarily a bad idea to quench to black, because it's good, and as in normal steels, it's good to avoid building up carbides, which is sort of low temp thermal cycling is excellent for. Whereas in the Wootz, that's exactly what we're trying to do. We want to keep our grain refined, but we also want to tie up as much carbon as possible in our carbides, and that'll give us the best effect. It also, by tying up carbon in our carbides, means that we can heat treat essentially as though this was a eutectoid steel, like 1080. The fact that we've got good zones of carbides helps tie up that carbon better than just in a normal steel of similar carbon content. I'm making sure that I'm doing a fairly slow thermal cycle, or a slow cool anyways, because that should help concentrate, and allows the carbon to be mobile and concentrate into our carbide regions. So I'm going to just continue doing this for, I don't know, say 5 more cycles, and that'll be it. We'll try to get some pictures up of how this comes out.